I'm Mary Crowley, and this is Zing, a show for children of all ages. May I please spend some time with you? I would like that, yes, I'd like that. Would you like that too? I hope so. Today we have Ashley Wolff, who will be reading one of her books and a very short interview with her. Then we'll take an art walk in a very special place and look at the works of art in that place. Lastly, we'll go to Mayor David Allaire's office and we'll talk to him. The word for today is nature. And the reason I chose that is that the natural world, the world of nature, the world of irises and tulips and crocuses and daffodils and trees and flowers and bees and grass and forsythia will come alive in April. The painting over on the easel is by Mary Crowley, my granddaughter. And as you can see, there is grass at the bottom and the roots of the tree. The tree has flowers on it. The flowers are very large. We read a book about flowers and pollen and bees, so she drew a bee in there because it's important to know that we need bees in order for things to grow right. In addition, we'll probably see more animals, birds. People who have bird feeders see them all year long, but if you don't have a bird feeder, you might begin to notice chickadees and cardinals, the red bird with the green female, chipmunks, squirrels, deer, even a bear. If you see a bear, just back away very slowly. We had a bear in our yard within the last year. That's why I mention it. Moose, you probably won't see a moose, but they live in Vermont. You'll notice that people are taking walks with their dogs now because generally speaking, the roads, the streets, and the sidewalks are not full of ice and snow. Nature coming alive. It's a wonderful, wonderful season. The colors of that season are green, for grass, fake grass, grass in Mallory's picture, yellow, 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 because we always think of the sun when we think of yellow. And we also, some of us know that there's certain flowers that will be yellow. Crocuses, many are yellow. Daffodils are yellow. Purple is another color of spring for me. This is purple. And there is a bush called lilac bush, and that has purple blooms on it. And many iris are purple, and many crocuses are purple. Out in the world of nature, you might decide to go out and play with a ball. You might try to see if you can get it through the hoop in your front yard. You could play with a frisbee. The number for today is 4, because April is the 4th month of the year. January, February, March, April. And I'll sing now to you April people. And I'm one of them too. I know lots of people who have April birthdays. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, April birthdays. Happy birthday to you. Ashley Wolff will be reading a book that is about Miss Bindergarten taking her kindergarten class on a field trip.
Hi, I'm Ashley Wolff, and I'm reading the book I did with Joseph Slate. It's called Miss Bindergarten Takes a Field Trip with Kindergarten. You notice Miss Bindergarten is a dog. She's a very special border collie. Only border collies can teach kindergarten because they're so smart, they're good, so good at herding, and they are willing to work like dogs. Miss Bindergarten takes a field trip with kindergarten. She's looking at her map. Today is field trip day. Adam's dad's a chaperone. Brenda's mom is too. Christopher says, "Hey, don't leave yet, a stone hopped in my shoe." Miss Bindergarten goes to the bakery with kindergarten. Danny cuts some cookies out. Emily sees them bake. Franny squirts pink icing on a scrumptious chocolate cake. Now Miss Bindergarten goes to the fire station with kindergarten. Gwen McGunney rings a bell. Henry holds a hose. Ian makes a funny face and laughs as his nose grows. Jessie learns stop, drop, and roll. Kiki tries on gear. Miss Bindergarten slides down the pole, and Lenny gives a cheer. Now Miss Bindergarten goes to the post office with kindergarten. Maddie picks the planet stamps. Noah taps the locks. Ophelia asks where letters go when they slide them through the slots. Patricia steers a canvas cart. Quentin checks the scale. "Mrs. Wong," Raffi asks, "is it fun to push the mail?" Now Miss Bindergarten goes to the library with kindergarten. Sarah grabs her favorite chair. Tommy hugs a book. Mr. Mack clicks the mouse. "Here, Ursula, take a look." Look how old-fashioned that computer looks. Oh. Vicky likes hot air balloons. Wanda loves the ships. A book is like a ticket to all sorts of splendid trips. Now Miss Bindergarten goes to the park with kindergarten. Xavier shouts, "Where's Brenda's mom?" Yolanda looks behind her. "Don't worry, she's not lost," says Zach. "I know where we can find her." Now Miss Bindergarten goes, "Whoa," stops with kindergarten. Adam's dad sets out the cups. Brenda's mom serves punch. Miss Bindergarten cuts the cake. Recognize that cake from the bakery? And they all sit down to munch. Did everyone notice that there are 26 kids in Miss Bindergarten's class? One for every letter of the alphabet. And did you see any of these shapes? We saw these shapes at the bakery. We saw these shapes at the fire station. We saw these shapes at the post office. We saw these shapes at the library. We saw these shapes in the park. Stars, hearts, ovals, hexagons, diamonds, rectangles, triangles, squares, and circles. And Coco found a lost keychain. The end.
I'm with Ashley Wolff, who does pictures for children's books and very often writes the stories too. And she will be reading one of her books for you. I'm interested, Ashley, in how you happened to decide to do this. You have done many, many books, I know.
As a reader, as a young reader, I loved children's books. I also loved to draw and paint, and my ambition was to grow up to be an artist. So when I went to art school, after graduating from Middlebury Union High School, I decided that, I tried a bunch of different things. I majored in printmaking for a while, and you can see that in my books. Some of them are illustrated with printmaking. And then I switched to illustration, and I practiced writing books and pairing words with pictures and taking away words when the pictures were there to do the job. And it's a lot harder than it looks to write a children's book.
Oh, I know.
You want it to be very...
I've done one. It's very hard.
Very hard. The words have to do just what they're meant to do, but not too much. And the pictures are there to create the whole rest of the universe.
Right. You said you knew very early you wanted to do this. Age 4, 10, what?
Well, I think a lot of children create little books when they're young.
Do they? I didn't.
No? Okay.
I drew.
I always say age 5.
Age 5,
when
that's amazing.
I knew I wanted to be an artist.
Okay, wonderful. So I think that's great.
I think it's great too. I feel very lucky. I actually grew up to be what I wanted to be as a child.
Right. And you're still doing it.
Yeah. Still making a living.
Wonderful.
I've been self-employed since 1984.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ashley. We will be taking an art walk through Grace Church. Alistair Stout, our Minister of Music, will be playing the organ. Then we will go around the church and see works of art. These 3 pieces were done by Jim Boughton, and they were done for a musical done by Rip Jackson. They are large, and I'm so very happy that the church decided to put them up and keep them. This piece was done by children and adults in the summer, and a group called Emma, which is East Mountain Mentoring Artists. I'm a member of that group. We got together and we painted on canvas so that the children and adults would have something to cut out. So Jesus is at the top, and then all around the circle, there are people at the table. There's bread in the middle, and Jesus is holding wine and bread. And it's just great fun. This is a copy of an etching by an artist named Rembrandt, who is very famous. And this is a picture of Jesus, who really is important in our faith in this church. He is healing people. Just to give you two examples, he made a blind person able to see. He healed that person. And he made a man who couldn't walk able to use his legs, and he was thus able to walk. And this is Jesus, the main figure, standing up, and people around him wanting to be healed of whatever they have wrong with them. This is the parlor, which is near the chapel, and it has 3 beautiful stained glass windows. It is the place where sometimes people meet. They have tea and cookies, they have a luncheon. Sometimes after a funeral, after someone has died, they meet in here. It is a beautiful room. We are in the office now where the financial secretary works, the person who is in charge of the money that is given to Grace Church. This painting is by Ashley Connors. Peter Cooper was an artist who lived in Rutland City, and he worked mainly in watercolors. Pictures you'll see now are done by him, and they are in a restroom, a bathroom. It's a big bathroom, and it needed something on the walls, so we put some pictures. This is a painting by Sue Lenfest of Rutland City, and you can see the Grace Church steeple, which is high. This painting is by me, Mary Crowley, Flowers, which so many of us are longing to see now. There are 2 pieces of art in a room where a lot goes on. They call it the elevator room because the elevator's there, but the 2 pictures are from Vacation Bible School, which is held in the summer, and they're done by children. This painting is by Peter Huntoon, and it is called Fall on Center. And fall is the time when the leaves turn red, orange, yellow, and that is Center Street in downtown Rutland. This is a mask that was done for a musical production by Rip Jackson, and many, many people made big masks. And this particular one is in our minister's office, in John Weatherhug's office on the wall. Thank you, Alistair Stout, for playing the organ while we were in the sanctuary. Your music is wonderful. David Allaire is mayor of our city, and he will tell you in his office what he does and something about his job. I am at City Hall with Mayor David Allaire. City Hall is a very big building that has many people working in it. And those people are working for all of us who live in Rutland City. Not the little towns around or anywhere else, but the city of Rutland. And this is David Allaire, who is our mayor. David, how did you happen to get to be mayor?
Well, it was a long time coming. I've lived here all my life. My wife and I live over on Church Street, and we've raised our family here. And I've always believed that Rutland was probably the best place in the world to live.
Good.
And about 20 years ago, I decided that in order for me to help my community, that it was going to be a good thing to get involved. And I wanted to start, from the ground up. So I decided to take a run at being an alderman.
Now, what does that mean?
So that means that I put my name up for nomination and for election to run with a group of 5 other people to be a member of an 11-member board of aldermen. And I got very lucky the first time. I was successful. I got more votes than the other fellow who was running. And the rest, as they say, is history. I've been here in a couple of different roles for 21 years.
Very good. The Board of Aldermen, what do they do?
So the Board of Aldermen is essentially a group of volunteers who meet a couple of times a month as a group, as well as they have smaller committees that where they talk about individual issues that they might want to talk about, whether it's spending or
Money.
taxpayer dollars that we all contribute to the city
Right.
through our property taxes.
And where does that money come from?
That money comes from all of us. That comes from moms and dads and people who work in the city and people that own property in the city. And they're the ones that help fund all our operations here in the city. And so that's what I did for 19 years. I was in there. And it was a great experience. I learned an awful lot. And eventually it got to the point where I decided that it might not be a bad idea to see if I could take a step up and become the mayor, which is essentially the boss of the whole city.
Right. That's a good way to put it. All right. What does the mayor do?
So the mayor is here full-time, works like any other folks in their job, Monday through Friday, although I'm on call all the time, so I'm working essentially 7 days a week. But the mayor is the head of the city, so he makes all the decisions about personnel and
Personnel, people who work here.
about the employees that work for the city. And right now we have about 160 that work for the city, so there's quite a few.
I didn't realize there were that many.
It's a big responsibility, and I enjoy it immensely. I've gotten to know a lot of the folks from my experience here. They're very hardworking, very dedicated to the city. They interact with me on a regular basis, so we're very big about communication here in the city and trying to make sure that we all understand what our roles are and how we interact with each other and how we communicate to all the people that live here in the city. So I value that immensely, and that's been one of the themes of my tenure since I became mayor.
Okay, so you work in this office where we are now. You go to the aldermen's meetings, right?
I do. Actually, I've made it a point since I got elected. This is, it's just been 2 years, and now I'm starting my third year. And I make a point of going to every Board of Aldermen meeting because I want them to be able to ask me questions if they're concerned about anything that they might know that's going on or they don't know. And I enjoy the interaction, and then I get to know exactly what they're thinking and what they're planning on doing too. So it's good interaction.
Okay, do you enjoy your job?
I enjoy my job immensely. I enjoy coming to work every morning.
That's great.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of responsibility, but this community is what makes it great.
I agree. This is my home.
Yes.
It's a good place to live.
This is our home. It is a great place to live.
Thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Allaire, for sharing with us what you do as the mayor of Rutland City. Hi. I did a painting with watercolors of daffodils a number of years ago, and then it was in a calendar. And so this is the picture from the calendar. It's not the real painting. But I love daffodils because we have a lot of daffodils in our yard at home. And I think they're very interesting flowers. They look different if you look straight on. Now this is straight on. And they have kind of ruffled edges like this. And then in here, there's a section that's darker. And this is the center of the daffodil if you're looking straight at it. Now, it has 6 petals. Now, maybe there are daffodils that have more or less, but that's not the kind I have. So I'm drawing the kind that I have. And as you look at it, some of them may seem to look bigger and some may look smaller. So that's the way I am drawing them. All right, and I think I'll just put a little shadow here quickly. So you can see that the petals are different from the flower, and there's some shadow here too, inside. All right, so that's the way it looks if you're looking straight on at the daffodil. And we'll put a stem down here. All right, over here is a side view of a daffodil. And again, it's got kind of frilly edges, although there are many kinds of daffodils. So it's hard to say that this is true of every wind. I don't think it is. By the way, there are little teeny daffodils, and then there are the normal size, which we mostly have, but we have some that are tiny too. Now I'm counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is, again, there was some shadow here. And then inside here, when I was looking at these, I was looking at real daffodils when I did these. It was very, very, very dark. So I'm going to make it very dark in here too, because it was the same thing. All right, so the petals here are quite large, but then as we get here, they seem to be smaller. And again, a little bit of shadow here and there. And then quite a bit of shadow underneath here because it's tipped up rather than facing exactly towards you the way that one does. And again, this needs a stem, so I'll do the stem like that. And of course, there are leaves too, so let's just, I don't know, do a few leaves. This leaf can come up this way, and we'll put another one up this way, and a third one through here. And that's it. Watch out for daffodils. They are absolutely beautiful. And the sign of spring, they come up pretty much when the crocuses do, early. Happy spring. This is Star Bear. Star Bear is here to remind you that you're a star. Everybody's a star. You just have to figure out what you're good at, what you like. And I'm going to tell you a true story about a man who was born in Ethiopia, which is in Africa, which is far away across the Atlantic Ocean. And when this man, his first name is Meb, M-E-B, his family came to the United States, and they settled in. And when he was in middle school, his phys ed teacher decided that he would have each of the boys run a mile. And Meb ran so fast that the teacher was stunned and could not believe that Meb could run that fast. And he said, you know, you're a runner. If you train, you could really be a star. So that's what Meb did. And he went on to enter many, many, many races. And he won the New York Marathon at one point. A marathon is a very, very long race, 26.2 miles. Over 26 miles. That's a long, long distance. And it takes a long, long time. So he won that one. And somebody said to him, well, you haven't won the Boston Marathon. That's the one that really counts. And so he decided he would, even though he was quite a bit older at that point, that he would try it. And he won. And so the moral of the story is, first of all, keep trying. And second, listen to people around you and see what they say about what you do well in. And you're a star too, just the way Meb is. You're a star, yes you are. You're a bright and shining star. You're a star, special star, special, special, special star. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.